Welcome back. As we left off last week, Klal Yisroel is in Mitzrayim. Klal Yisroel is learning what it means to serve a master. Klal Yisroel is learning what it means to do what you're being told without questioning it, without understanding it, without being comfortable with the idea. And they're learning thoroughly what it means to serve a master. But slowly, Klal Yisroel is starting to fall into the idea that indeed their human master is all there is. Klal Yisroel is starting to forget who indeed is the master who is creating everything around them, and who is doing everything around them. And they start feeling the pain. The Torah tells us Hashem, when he was talking to Moshe, said, I'm starting to see Klal Yisroel's pain. What does it mean? How did the pain just begin at that point? The pain began as Klal Yisroel started to forget that there is someone behind everything, that there is someone that's causing everything around them to happen. And Hashem indeed calls upon Moshe. He calls upon Moshe to deliver the message that will lead Klal Yisroel out of their pain, out of Mitzrayim, out of the position that they found themselves in. And indeed, what was the message? The message was, Hashem calls upon Moshe, look at the physical things that I'm showing you. I'm showing you a physical fire. I am showing you a physical bush. But the fire is not burning the bush because the master's intent was not there that the fire should burn the bush. He was telling him, you have to tell Klal Yisroel, the physical does not happen if I don't indeed want it to happen. There could be a fire, it could be on a bush, but the bush won't burn if I don't want it to happen. Whatever is happening to them in Egypt right now is because I want it to happen exactly the way it's happening. Moshe Rabbeinu cannot believe that he could be worthy of delivering such a message. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he hears Hashem tell him, take Klal Yisroel out of Mitzrayim, he says, how could I be the one to deliver the message if they will think that it's me that's taking them out? And Hashem tells him, of course, Eke she'eke, I will be with you and they will see that I am the one who is taking them out. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted Klal Yisroel to see Hashem clearly. He did not want to be someone in the middle, that Klal Yisroel should continue to think that there is a human being who has some physical effect on them at all. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe, you will be my messenger. You will deliver the message that I'm sending to Bnei Yisrael. And Moshe Rabbeinu continues and says, how will I show them that indeed it's not me? Then indeed it's not another human being telling them something. So Hashem gives him two signs, two physical signs that make no sense, two miracles, in other words. And with those signs, show Klal Yisroel that the physical means nothing unless Hashem intends it to be something. A snake can be a stick, and a stick can be a snake, if that's what Hashem wants. Moshe Rabbeinu tries one last thing, and Moshe Rabbeinu tells Hashem, I'm physically incapable of delivering the message with purity. I'm physically incapable of delivering the message without harming its value. My brother Aharon HaKohen already reached the level of Nevuah. He's already been one to speak the word of Hashem. Klal Yisrael already knows that his words are the words of Hashem. Let him deliver this message. But Hashem tells Moshe, no, it is your words. You're right. Physically, naturally, you're not a good speaker. But indeed, that's who I want to deliver this message to Klal Yisrael, to show them clearly how the physical does not matter unless it's what the master wants. Indeed, for Paroi, for someone who could not understand what it means to be a servant of a master, you will indeed say the words to Aharon, your brother, who is a good speaker, and he will repeat them before Paroi. But the message needs to be delivered through you. Yes, physically not perfect, but a perfect messenger and a perfect servant. When Hashem sends Moshe to Mitzrayim and Moshe Rabbeinu starts leading them, starts showing them the miracles, starts showing them that the physical that's going on around them does not mean what they think it means. Starts reminding them that indeed they were sent down to Mitzrayim to learn what it means to serve, but not to serve a human being, but rather to serve the master and creator of the world. Klal Yisrael starts listening, but it's one day yes, one day no. And therefore Hashem says, I will continue to show them miracles after miracle after miracle, because before we continue, before we go further in creating a nation that will be in service of the creator of the world, the ultimate servants, they need to have a firm standing and belief. And they need to have proof that shows them that the physical in this world means absolutely nothing. They need to know and believe to their core that everything around them is a miracle. In other words, everything around them only happens by the will of their master. They need to see miracles again and again and again for an entire year. Their whole natural being has to be convinced, after so many years of serving a human master, they have to be convinced that there is no such thing as a human master. Not only that, by the end, they will be able to walk out because they will know there is no such a thing as a human being holding them back. And as indeed we will see, this is exactly what happened at every step of the way. Their only setbacks were when they were thinking that maybe there is still some power to a human being. And of course, after all those miracles, we know that by Makas Choshech, when they went through the darkness, those who were not ready to accept and understand that indeed everything in this world is only in service of Hashem, everything in this world is only to push you towards service of Hashem. Even after all those open miracles, there was absolutely no reason to take those people out of Mitzrayim. They stayed there and they were buried there. Because Klal Yisrael was about to move on to a step where they would become a complete nation of servants. Not some of them yes, some of them not, some of them and maybe some of them in between. No. All of Klal Yisrael was going to become the ultimate servant. Each and every one of Klal Yisrael. And therefore those who, after all those miracles, after all those signs that were showing them the clarity that the only power in this world and the only purpose in this world is serving their master, if they were not ready at that point, there was no reason for them to come out. There was no reason for them to leave Mitzrayim. Because only those who were going to become part of the service of Hashem, of the service of the Master and Creator, were worthy and indeed had to leave Mitzrayim, had to leave a level of where I can still feel pain caused to me by another human being. There is no such thing. There is no such thing, something that's caused by another human being. There is only what our Master and Creator wants from us, and what our Master and Creator is pushing us towards. And that indeed was when Klal Yisrael was ready to leave Mitzrayim. When indeed even the children of Klal Yisrael were happily walking around in a country that they were brought up in for decades and centuries as a country that was torturing them, and they were happily playing around with Paroi as if he's a joke, because they realized there is no such thing as a human master. There is only what Hashem wants from us. Where Klal Yisrael reached a level that before leaving Mitzrayim, they were able to say, we're going to leave and walk into a desert, a place with absolute no physical understanding of what the human body needs, with no physical capabilities to keep the human going. We will walk in there with absolute no question and no doubt. We will walk in there without preparing food. That was Klal Yisroel. That was the nation that was ready to go to the next and final step to become the ultimate servants of their master and creator. And of course, in the next episode, we will discuss if there were any preparations that they still had to do and learn. Thank you for joining the Serving My Master podcast. I appreciate your comments and feedback, and I look forward to continuing this conversation with you. If you're enjoying this podcast, you might want to check out our other podcast, Rabbi Yankel's podcast, hosted by all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Rabbi Yankel's podcast is a weekly podcast talking about the Parshas HaShavua or Yomim Tovim that are coming up. Enjoy and have a wonderful day. Thank you.